All nights in here, baby.
So this is kind of like just a professional powwow. I'm just going to introduce myself, Shane Judge. I work with Century 21 First Party Realty, and I am a real estate advisor. And on some thing, I just advise people on what to do and what not to do. And sometimes people listen to me, and sometimes, unfortunately, they don't. So, and we're here with Tracy Lent. Go ahead, Tracy. It's all you.
Hey, everybody. I'm Tracy Lent from Tracy Lent Lending, and I am more of a financial strategist because we have to use a lot of strategy to get our transactions done in this day and age. And I love working with my professional partners here. Been in the industry for a while, and nothing gives me more joy than helping someone buy a new home.
I'm Rocky Jones. I own Protect Property Inspections. I'm a licensed home inspector. I've been in business for 10 years. I have over 25 years experience in the business. And my goal is to help the clients be informed of what they're about to buy. Make sure that they can make an informed decision based on the findings I find at the location, and help them to find resolutions in order to help solve some of the problems that we may have found in order to make the deal go by smoother for them, or to help them have more peace of mind when they're buying the property. So that's my whole goal.
Or not buy the property.
Or not buy
Or not buy it, right? Hi everyone, my name's Harmony Jones. I'm your insurance ninja. I am a newly insurance broker. I'm just here to educate everyone in this hot, crazy market right now in insurance.
While we have everybody here, I think one of the coolest things we could do is kind of explain like how our role can change the price of a home. Because I think a lot of people approach buying a home with, if they even start with what's my budget before they start looking online, okay, we're ahead of the game, which they don't. People just start looking online. They may or may not know what they can afford or not afford, but where it starts maybe getting a little bit more confusing is when we're in contract already. You've already negotiated us to get into a contract. Our buyers might think that they have one price going, and then we get some hitches in our giddy up. So Rocky, when you're doing a home inspection on a home, what are things that people need to look out for that could potentially change the price of the home so that they cannot afford it and or want to walk away from the property, period?
That makes sense. And like you say, the house does go through multiple price points, and after the home inspection, negotiations start over. In my opinion, that's kind of how it works. You know,
Okay.
Once we find all the items that we find, this brings to the table a lot of questions and a lot of items that are legible for negotiations. And so you have a lot of leverage, I feel like, after the home inspection as a buyer to be able to then go negotiate the price, credits at closing, repairs, things like that. So prices can fluctuate by a lot, like you're saying, especially with if you choose to go for the credit option. You know, instead of in lieu of the repair list, you can either take the money and put it towards repairs. You can take the money, put it towards your closing costs. So a lot of things that we do find at the home inspections do impact the price of the home. Mainly the major items is what we're looking for, you know, HVAC, plumbing, electrical items, stuff like that. But all the little cosmetic items, they all add up. Everything adds up to a dollar value at the end of the day. And the buyers can see a value in that inspection report and then turn around and take that value and apply it towards the price. And hopefully sellers in today's market, it depends on what kind of market we're in, but in some markets, sellers will tell you, take a hike, we're not fixing anything. In other markets, they'll fix everything. So depending on the market and the time and the age that we're in, the home inspection can really alter the price of the home.
Yeah, so there's two things that make and break a deal. One is a home inspection, second is an appraisal. Right. And if there's a good listing agent, usually they'll have that inspection already done themselves and fix those things.
Right.
But usually I run into the 95%, they don't do that.
No.
So we go in, we get it done. What are common things you see? Because I get clients that take things out of proportion, like see an issue that you see a lot that is not a big issue, but some people might think it's a big issue.
Several properties in just the last month that were pulled to the property and the heater's not working. Heaters are within the last 20 years. It's not an old heater. By no means does it need to be replaced.
Yeah.
But it's not working. It's as easy as a flame sensor. You know, something so simple, and they get really scared about it. And it's my job to reassure them, no, the unit looks like it's in great condition. There's no physical problems with it. It's not past its useful lifespan. Yeah. So as long as that communication's there with the buyer, and you can explain to them, hey, it may not be working, but this is something that's going to be an easy fix. So as long as that communication's open, I mean, they see all kinds of things like we're having some electrical problems throughout the house, and it's usually just dedicated to that single plug. Yeah. It doesn't have to mean you have to have a whole new electrical panel. Yeah. You know, so there's a lot of things that just need some preventive maintenance in order for them to keep on working, and at that point, home warranty will hopefully kick in and take over. And so finding things and explaining to them the issues, that is the key to make them not feel scared, to make them not want to walk away from the property, and just being open and honest with them about the repair items.
Yeah. So usually when I get an inspection report from you guys, I'll have all my people, if it's a plumbing issue, if it's a pool issue, if it's just a handyman issue, I have my people go out there and give me an estimate. So by the time the seller gives me, you know, if they want to give me credit back, I know what the credit's going to be. Yes. And usually I put a buffer on it, because some of the items, depending what the item is like some of the stuff like electrical switches, you know, I know when you dig into it, it's not going to be a bigger problem. Right. But some of the issues, like a pool issue or a heater issue or an AC issue, I usually put a buffer on it. Right. You know, depending, you know, how not sure I am about, because I've been in the business a while. I know what are easy fixes and what are not easy fixes. Right. Some of the stuff, and I'll tell my clients, like, hey, I don't know if they're going to give us credit. We can get into this, like a leak on a pool or somewhere that's underground or something like that, irrigation leaks. You know, you have to dig that stuff up to really get into it. So I'll put a buffer on there.
Smart.
So what I'm hearing is not only is the inspection vital, but it's an opportunity for us to go in and renegotiate so things can move. My next question for you, Rocky, and then I want Harmony to answer the same question, please, is how has technology entering the home, more like a smart home situation, solar, how has technology changed inspections?
You have to be pretty versed in order to do some of these high value homes nowadays in the type of systems that they're using. So every day it's almost kind of like a learning experience as you're out there in the field and you're entering these properties that have this new type of technology, right? So a lot of times it's nice when the seller's there so they can help you operate those systems. That's the problem with technology, is that you have to have someone smart enough to operate it. If you have all these people that are buying these homes and they have no idea how to operate it, and something goes out, you know, we got these Crestron systems that operate everything in the whole house.
You can't get out of the panic room.
You can't even get out of the house, right, if you don't know what you're doing. So it's important to have that seller or somebody teach the technology, because it's coming out, and it's coming out so fast, and it's changing so quickly that it's hard to keep up with until you actually see it and you've actually put your hands on it.
And I'm sure your industry does continuing education to keep you guys cutting edge.
They do keep us with continuing education, but it's really not, they're even behind. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The technology is coming out faster than the continuing education is coming out. So the continuing education is behind the times. So we're learning as we're there on the property. We're learning from the sellers. We're learning from the electricians and from the audio video installers. Those type of people, those are the ones who are training us, rather than the state or these third-party companies. It's really a hands-on type situation. So having an inspector who has experience and who's busy and is knowledgeable is super important. You know, and a busy inspector is who you want. You don't want someone who's not doing many inspections, because they're not getting that experience.
What is the qualification to become an inspector?
You got to pass a state test. There's a 60 hours of education that you basically have to take through a reputable organization. Then once you pass those classes, then you have to pass the state test. You can't have any felonies, anything issue with child support, stuff like that. And then basically you can just get your license.
So basically, a real estate agent, the bar is low.
Yes.
So you have to be careful on who you hire as an inspector and as a realtor.
Completely. Completely.
Yeah.
And I know that appraisers have an apprenticeship period.
Correct.
He did as well.
Okay, I did.
He worked with someone. I think, wasn't it required?
No, it wasn't required. The state does it as a part of the requirement to be a home inspector. One of the options to fulfill the credits is to go with a ride along with another inspector to train you for a specific amount of home inspections. But everybody who starts in the business needs to have a mentor in order to be able to do it right, because they don't teach you all the ins and outs of how to run the business. They just teach you what to look for, right? Not actually how to run the business.
And homeowners insurance, insurance in general, what are the big things that you're having to get up to speed on to help your clients out with Harmony?
Well, currently insurance is in a hard market, as I said earlier. So what I'm encountering, and I advise to all my lenders that I work with and real estate agents, to your clients, you can advise your clients to start looking for insurance earlier. Before it was after the inspection, okay, let's send it in 2-week, 3-week closing date. We need more time because unfortunately the insurance carriers have gotten stricter now. You don't know if your client has claims. You don't know the age of the home. There's so many factors that come into it that I myself am seeing. Before I could quote an issue, now it's not like that at all. I'm running into underwriting issues. The natural disasters have affected the carriers. State of Nevada, you think we're all safe. I was like, I'm home free here. We don't have any natural disasters. We're good
We
to
don't
go.
have weather. It's just hot.
So
Yeah.
why do you think they're making us pay for the California's natural disasters? Is because it's a nationwide thing?
Yes, it says as a whole.
Yeah,
so
I gotcha.
they insure California as well as Nevada. It's a whole. It's not like there's one department that only pays out to
Yeah, I
California.
gotcha.
It's a whole. So it's affected them as a whole. They're not profitable. They're not sustainable. They're making choices to pull out of state of Nevada. I was with American National, and I'm not. I can't. They quit writing PNC a year ago, so they're having to do this to protect themselves. I mean, but for the state of Nevada, our number one claims are water claims, water heater leaks, pipe leaks. So we come in, and you guys, this has been a long time coming. People are used to homeowners insurance rates, premiums being $800 to $1,000 for your home. You make one claim, one water claim. We're having to do the drywall, their cabinets, the tile, the piping, everything. I mean, it's going to be like $20,000 for a small, like even a small one. The labor on that, the parts, everything's gone up, inflation. So times are changing. Like the average I'm seeing is $1,500, 22 is average, and that's just for your regular homes, 350 to 500,000. We're not talking high value. We're not,
You're talking, what is that, a year? What are you talking?
premium annual.
Premium? Annual? Okay.
But people are so used to $800, $900.
Yeah.
And it's not the case anymore.
And I'm seeing some like custom homes that are very hard to get insured. Like my clients didn't think he was going to get insured. Final hour, somebody insured him, and it's just getting tighter. Is that what it is?
It's getting tighter. Their appetite is getting smaller. Some carriers are like, we won't write anything over 20 years old for a primary, 30 for a rental. As a broker now, I've been blessed because I have more carriers, more options, but it is a time-consuming process. And like you said, those custom homes, a regular carrier may think this is too much for us. It's out of our appetite. So then you have to go to like USLI, Burns and Wilcox, other carriers. It's not that they can't get insurance. They can, but they're going to pay. So unfortunately, and that's the same thing when it comes down to claims. Make sure you have, I know the 1-800 numbers are easy to get insurance. They come out as the cheapest, but it is not your best way to go. I highly suggest that you have an agent. You have an agent to call when a claim does appear. You have a problem with the house so that they can advise you, because making a $2,000 claim right now, you will regret it. You will pay way more than $2,000. The claim stays on your history for 5 years. You might not even be able to get insurance. You'll have to go with surplus lines, which it's 3 times as much.
Yeah. I'm glad that you said that, because I have clients that filed little claims on their home, like 1 or 2, and then they sold their home, buying a new home, and nobody will insure them because they got those claims. So it's almost a like, should I take care of this myself and not use the insurance I pay for, the insurance that I pay for, because it's insurance?
I know.
So it's kind of one of those things you have to weigh now in our day and age.
Yeah, and when I first became an agent, I wasn't about weighing. I was like, yes, I'm here for you. Claim number, send the claim number. Now I'm like, let's talk about this claim. Let's have someone come out. How much is it going to be to fix? This is the long run, what you're going to look like. And, you need to be educated on that, because, the easy way out is to make a claim. You think, I don't need to come out the pocket, but my deductible, that's what I've been paying for all these years. This is what I've been waiting for. Let me use it. Unfortunately, and I'm, as an agent, I don't think it's right, but we don't have control over that.
We don't have any control.
We have
and
no
this
control.
has been coming on for a while, because I had a client that had a water leak. There's a lot of variables that go into it. He had a water leak. insurance said they were going to claim it.
Mm-hmm.
So they hired a company, a water mitigation company, to come in, but the insurance decided not to deny it. And then the next door neighbor, because it was a condo and it was leaking from upstairs, they denied it too. But what the water mitigation company did is rip the whole house.
Yep.
I mean, for a little leak in the bathroom, they ripped the whole bathroom, the kitchen, in the bedroom, around the floors, and it was not necessary.
And that's their game, because they're like, their insurance is going to pay
so
for it.
I think that's a reason why these insurance, because these companies are coming in and taking advantage of these insurance companies,
100%.
and that's why insurance is the way it is.
It's the same with auto.
Yeah.
Because people are suing in a fender bender. No injury, no police called. 2 months later, they find out it's a company vehicle, $2 million per person they're suing for.
So all the billboards of all these lawyers we see, that's probably their fault, right?
And insurance companies, they do pay out. You know, you have your liability limits. They will pay up to that liability limit. That's what they're there for to do. But now the consumers, you know, it's affecting us, the consumers. So the other thing is I wanted to talk about was like the DTI. So I just had a friend who's a lender, and insurance is causing deals to be lost.
I pity the fool.
I pity the fool. And to me, that's so disheartening, that's so discerning, because they've already gone through your step, this step. They've done it all. They're at the end. And now we can't place insurance, or it's just too expensive for them.
So maybe get the insurance right when you get that pre-approval to make sure you can insure, or when you find that
when you're
house.
in contract.
Before
need
you
the
leave
address.
the contract.
I don't even need you to be in contract.
Yeah.
No?
If you
just
find
need
a
the
home,
address.
you're putting in an offer,
Yeah.
let me start quoting. Because the sooner we find out, that's the only, we need to run the clue report. We need to run the clue report when we need to see, does this client have claims? We need to see the age of the home. We need to see the background of the home. All those things come into play. Because it's not that I can get it. We just have to go through underwriting approval. Maybe they want pictures. Maybe they want, they want to know what this claim was from and how we're preventing it. All those things. It just takes time. It takes time. And I'm not one, I don't mind doing the work rather than you call me and I can't get it. Like, it bothers me a lot when you come up to my stage, supposed to be the last one. Just get insurance, no big deal. It's the easiest part. It's not.
So just from this conversation, I'm just going to start having my clients call and make sure
Absolutely.
that DTI works out with the insurance and the
No
loan.
Harmony, the home wrecker.
No, don't be. I don't want to be the home wrecker. Absolutely. And I want to be straightforward. I want to let you guys know up front, this is what we're looking at. This is the general idea. This is the turnaround time. All those things.
So when she says DTI, that is an acronym that stands for debt to income. In the mortgage world, in the money world, when we look at that, we're looking at what are you bringing in monthly, which, believe it or not, very few people I have ever talked to in over 25 years in working in money know what they make annually, let alone monthly. So we may need to do a little bit of work on that. That's okay. So they're going to take your monthly amount versus what's on your credit report, the payments on your credit report. This is the initial part you have to do to qualify for the loan. Here's where the home wrecking part comes in. Or, I don't know if you guys have heard this. Shane, I'm probably certain you've heard it. I don't know about insurance world. I've heard, if I can pay $2,500 in rent, why can't I pay $2,500 in mortgage?
Because interest rates are too high.
Well, here's why. Pity the fool. $2,500 mortgage is just the beginning. $2,500 rent is the beginning, the middle, and the end. Because we have to do principal and interest. That probably is your 25 right there. Now we have property taxes and homeowners insurance. So if we think our homeowners insurance is $150 a month, and it's really $250 a month, that throws every single ratio and every equation off on the loan. So that's why it's so heartbreaking, and we're trying to let people know, hey, watch out for this stuff, because this is all stuff we're out there blazing the trail for the clients.
I'll definitely keep that in mind.
Yeah, for sure.
On all deals.
Yeah, I
from now
don't mind
on, just
doing the
'cause
work, and it's less stress on me because when you're like, I need this in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
They have a claim.
It's
I'm
better
like,
to tell you beforehand.
100%. Let's just run that clue.
When you
Let's see
do
what
all
we're
that
working
work
with.
and you're about to close and you can't close because
The
your DTI is
insurance.
thrown off, or you can't even get insurance for
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah, and I've literally seen it ruin deals, and I feel terrible about it.
and it's not
But-
your fault.
No, it's really not my fault, and I can only do so much. I can't, change someone's history. I can't change them or what they're, I have the carriers available now to work with. It just takes time. Things take time. Underwriting takes time.
So how often do you think people should have their homeowners insurance reviewed?
Yearly.
Really, yearly? Okay.
At the renewal, your insurance will go up, just like your auto.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes a lot, sometimes less, depending on the carrier you're with, depending on if you had claims. All those things will come into play. But the dwelling structure is going to go up because, as houses get older, or going up. So yearly for sure. And then one thing you guys, I suggest, and my husband was actually saying, is make those deductible higher. And people don't like to do that. People are used to that $1,000 deductible. They're like, oh, this is what I pay for. If I get a big water claim, I'm only have to come out the pocket $1,000. This is why we pay for it. Unfortunately, that $1,000 claim is going to cause you so much headache and higher premium and everything like that. So you just really need to sit down with the agent and get advice on that, on whether this is worth making, because the claim's going to stay with you for 5 years. Your premiums are going to be high. It's just a tumbling crap show.
And then that brings us back to getting a home warranty. Will take care of some of those problems that insurance would, and you don't have to do that, so you can mitigate it with the home warranty.
Yeah,
And that goes
warranty
back
to the smaller fixes.
Yeah, but still,
Yeah.
No,
I agree.
And then that goes back to the inspection report. I have my inspectors come out and do a re-inspection to adjust the inspection report, because when you send that off to the home warranty, because you get a $25 discount,
Right.
that discount is so they can see everything wrong with that home and not prove those claims on that home warranty. So that's
Oh,
important.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's
Really?
very important. Yeah.
I didn't know.
So-
they
Yeah, I
did
usually
that.
follow up. I don't usually adjust the report, but that is what they're looking for. They want to see if that initial report that item was not working, that they need to see that it was working in order for them to cover it. So
Yeah.
having the report modified, or making sure you get that email from the inspector with photos and something saying that, yes, upon reinspection it was working, then the home warranty will come into play. Otherwise, they can see it didn't work during the inspection, they're not covering it. And the other thing I want to mention about her industry is what the insurance companies are doing now is they're sending out inspectors 30 days after you purchase a policy. And they're checking the property. Not every company,
Yeah, a lot of them are.
but they're checking the property. And if you have any sort of roof damage or roof issues,
They will cancel you.
they will cancel
They'll
you.
ask you
They'll
for
tell
it.
you to replace your roof, or you will be facing cancellation.
That's
huge.
crazy.
It's been happening to
But that
several
goes
of our
back to
clients.
the inspector too, because that starts, because the only deal that I've told my clients not to, there's been two, I think, but one was because of the roof.
It's the most expensive
Because the
piece.
inspectors walk in the roof and they said they got the roof just redone, and it was a brand new roof, but he was like, man, this feels like I'm gonna fall through.
Oh no!
Really?
Yeah.
And I was like, well,
overlay.
we move on to the next, because I told this to it was a flipper, and I told this to him, and he was like, well, I just had it redone. I'm like, well, you better hire somebody else.
No, I don't think so.
So what do you see that kills deals that you would tell me, like if I was like, hey, because every time I meet my home inspector, I meet him at the end of it just to get a summary and make sure nothing major is an issue. What do you see that's major in the issue that you're like, hey, if you're looking out for your buyers,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
So there's been very rare times when I've actually told a buyer or an agent, hey, I would be wary about buying this property. Very rarely. I mean, everything can be fixed generally. But when you run into problems, number one, the roof, and you see patch jobs, or they've painted the shingles, or they've done some sort of repair to try to cover something up, and you feel that spongy surface. I mean, roofs can be repaired too.
Yeah.
So it's not that big a deal. But when you're seeing...
Expensive.
Yeah, they're very expensive. The electrical panels, there's a couple of electrical panel brands. There's Zinsco and Federal Pacific, and that's what I would like to talk to most realtors about, is to wear your inspection hat when you're showing the houses to the buyers a little bit. And you can save a lot of time and a lot of money and from inspections and appraisals just by knowing a few things like 2 recalled electrical panels, like I say, the
Which are-
Zinsco,
Which are
Zinsco,
uninsurable.
which are uninsurable,
so Zinsco
and
and
Federal Pacific.
Federal Pacific.
But you'll find those in houses built in the 70s or before.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about that new one. There is one square D panel that was in the 2000s that is also recalled, but it's very hard to find. So, but those 2 other panels, it would be very like something as a realtor to go out and say, and that's something that when I see those panels, it's a big red flag for me as well, for the buyers and to the real estate agent.
Yeah.
I'll say, hey,
How much does it cost to replace the panel?
it's about 5 or 6 grand
That's
to
what I was
replace a
gonna
panel.
ask.
Okay.
So
About
it's not really a deal killer, but it is expensive, and it should be done because it's a safety issue, and like you said, uninsurable. And some insurance
Used to
companies
have-
are asking for the copies of the home inspection report in order to place insurance. Progressive is one of those.
Progressive is, they want you to get a home
That's
inspection.
They
understandable.
want
They
a
want
copy.
a brand new
Yeah.
home full inspection, not a half one. But for Progressive Home, they require that.
And then what will get your home uninsurable besides those panels?
The
Polybutylene pipes, which are the gray waterline pipes. So if you ever see those, mostly at mobile homes and homes built in the 70s and 80s, and you do see some in the 90s and stuff, but they don't use it anymore. But polybutylene pipes is they're looking for. They're looking for those 3 different type of electrical panels.
which when you have those, they are uninsurable. And so if they have some knowledge from it, however they do the research underwriters, probably by the year of the home, they're like, okay, these homes in Nevada during these years were made with that piping or made with that,
All right.
that electrical panel and everything
So
like
it
that.
sparks these questions.
Right,
And
right.
people have
Those
to
are
look.
uninsurable. The age of your home right now is getting a little stricter. I have a carrier right now that writes up to 50 years, but I have homes that are 55 years old, 60 years old.
That's
you know?
crazy because on the East Coast, homes are hundreds of years old.
Yes, how they even
know.
exactly? They're just paying more premium.
We
So
can
that's
write
the bottom
them
line.
with the surplus and excess and
so-
surplus lines. The premium is higher. But what they're saying is your home is old. Something's going to go wrong. We know that. That's what they're trying to say, which is stupid because your roof's not the original roof from then. It wouldn't be able to last that long. Your piping's probably been replaced because you probably did have a leak.
Yeah.
All those things, And I get some older homes that are amazing.
Yeah.
Totally remodeled, contemporary, gorgeous. And I've had, carriers decline them and say this home is out of shape and debris. And I'm like, what do you guys? So then we have to send pictures. So like I said, everything is workable, doable, just time consuming. Just give us the time to help you and try to figure it out.
What do you see when you go through the inspection process that they say, nope, we're not giving you a loan for this home?
Okay, well, it's not that they won't give you a loan, but the biggest hitch in my giddy up, I would say in the last 5 years, and this goes back to my technology question for you guys, is solar panels. There is not a real solid foundation baseline for how people have financially set up the lease, the buyout, how it affects the roof, what part of the roof, if you get this fixed or not that fixed, which don't even have anything to do with that. What I see is this. It's usually an older home, and it's usually an older person who's lived in that home for a really long time. And some slicky salesperson goes to them and
Like
says,
salesperson.
hey, we're going to increase the value of your home. Take out this loan, 80-year-old person, and we'll put this solar on your home that was built in 1972, which may need a whole new electrical system.
Yep.
I may need a second electrical panel because they've built on unpermitted. That's why I say it's
You need a
normally
partial
older
roof
homes.
replacement.
Roof replacement, yeah.
Well, the roof replacement. So here's what happens. Now, Shane's client goes to buy that house, and the homeowner has no clue how the solar's set up. So now let's go all the way back to our math, to our pity the fool and our DTI.
Yep.
If I have to find money for them to buy out the solar panel system, which could be 20 grand, 50 grand, 80 grand, 120 grand, if it's a huge house or something like that. Now we might have a home wrecking situation for our clients. So here's what my company has done to help with all this. And I know that you probably haven't heard of this. So specifically on not a new build, New build, I can do something, but it's not what I'm talking about right now. This is great for my first-time home buyers because you got to think about this. Your first-time home buyer, your downsizer, and your investor are all basically trying to go for the same kind of house. 3-2 ranch, 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch, maybe a pool. So we have a program called Solar Boost where we will actually give the buyer the down payment, the entire cost of the solar, and the closing costs to put on an existing property. And they have one loan.
Oh, that's nice.
So they give you like 120 LVR.
Yes. So we can go in. This is what I am so good at with my clients is let's take what you already have and keep looking at it. We may not have known that we had to factor in solar or not, depending on how the financing. Well, a lot of these solar companies have gone out of business. Yeah. Now what happens? How do you inspect that? How do you fix that? How do you ensure that? Whose fault is it? We're really trying to mainstream some of this technology because I think it is needed. I think people want to do their part with going green and whatnot and with charging cars and all this stuff happening. It's just a way that our company has extended the olive branch to help these deals go down so we don't have a hitch in the giddy up at the end.
Yeah.
That's a cool
Smart.
program.
That is good. I've seen it happen multiple times. The buyer shows up and the agent shows up and I'm like, oh, what's the deal with the solar panels? And they're like, we're still trying to figure it out. I'm like, you guys are in contract. You're paying for the home inspection and you don't even know who's paying for these solar panels or if they're paid off. I'm like...
And a lot of times they don't have a phone number with a point of contact.
Right.
One time I called their corporate headquarters, like Wall Street, their finance people. And I said, I know this isn't the right department, but I need to get a hold of, I just need a copy of the contract because the seller didn't have the contract.
Yeah. Because like she said, a lot of companies gone out of business. So that's something you have to do a lot of due diligence and you have to chase down. Like,
where does your loan go?
Yeah, where is it coming from? And
They sell it?
I've had to done that many times.
So.
And one thing you never do is get a power purchase contract because it's a forever lease on that. And that's just a mess when you go to sell your home.
Yeah, we haven't put solar on. He actually looked into it to sell it, and after he got into it, he's like, "Yeah, we don't need solar. We're gonna wait on that."
And there's just so much of a sliding scale on solar panels when it comes to the amount they can charge you per kilowatt per hour, how much the salesmen are making. To me, I like solar. I think it's a great option for the future, but it wasn't right for me at this time. If you're going to buy solar, you pay it off in cash or you don't do it at all.
Yeah, I agree with you.
The banks will screw you over.
Yeah. There's just too many people in the process from selling it to here. There's too many people in the middle.
Completely.
And they're fluctuating their rates.
And it's because I read somewhere the cost of solar in Australia is like 30% of what it costs here.
I believe it.
Because all the bureaucracy and red tape and everybody trying to, it's horrible.
Living the dream in America.
Well, the other thing is, do you want to have a separate loan and finance technology that's out of date by the time it's put on your house? We have the new home builder show out here. We also have a CES Consumer Electronics Show. So we see some of this tech. They're starting to put the solar panels in the shingles of the homes instead of like built in, so it's not an eyesore. And so that's the other factor is, can we keep up with
technology as it grows?
Right.
And speaking of that, new construction inspections, but there is a company, Beezer Homes, actually is doing Tesla solar panels and Tesla power walls in one of their communities. It's Aria in Cadence.
Wow.
Which is pretty cool, and it's all priced into the house. New construction inspections, yes or no?
Yes.
100%. So they're going to try to deter you from getting inspections the most you can. All the builders would tell you the superintendent's going to make you try to feel warm and fuzzy and try to tell you, we got you, don't worry about this, you don't need your own inspector. They really try to deter you from getting your own inspection.
They make you guys jump through hoops.
And now
they make him jump through.
And now they've made.
What are your limits on your auto insurance? We want $1 million. He's like, what are you talking about to get onto the property? They're making it hard. They don't want them.
$500,000 for automobile liability, and then $1 million minimum for regular liability. So I've raised.
So to inspect a home that they built,
Yes.
Really?
They want
Yes.
his liability rates
Ah.
on his stuff to be that high just to come onto the property.
So
and he
they're,
has to
they're
show all
making it
that.
harder for you guys.
Yes.
You know why they're doing that? It's because they're building up so fast, and they have one superintendent for 100 units,
Exactly.
and they can't keep track of all these trades.
No.
And some of the things I find is mind blowing.
Mind blowing.
I found
really is.
bathrooms with no vent.
Yeah, I believe
I
it.
found rooms where the plans say there's supposed to be a loft, and it was a room.
Mm, yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
But they're cutting a lot of corners, and I would say more things wrong, mostly cosmetic stuff, but I do find quite a few major things. But in a regular home inspection compared to a new build, I'll find more things wrong in a new build than I will at a pre-existing home. I have to be more picky and more careful because it is brand new and everything is expected to be perfect. And so I go in with that mentality of everything has to be perfect.
It's brand new.
It's brand new, right? So they have this threshold or a
leniency gauge.
yeah, where they think, well, if it's lifted up that much, it still meets our standard. You know what I'm saying?
Not new home buyers.
Yeah, exactly. So everybody has their own standard, and I really feel like as far as the new home build communities go, it boils down to the superintendent. Because I'll find Beezer homes in Cadence that are great, and then I'll find Beezer homes in Aliente that are terrible.
Just the superintendent.
It's the super it boils
Because
down
he
to
hasn't
it.
been on the job and he doesn't know what's wrong with the property.
Exactly.
And it's probably someone above him. He's been given too much to handle.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah,
it's
not his
a
fault.
pyramid. Yeah,
No.
for sure.
They're running and gunning.
Yeah. And another thing is too, because with those new construction homes, usually it's a 1, 2, and 10 year. So after that 1 year, it's bumper to bumper, they call it.
Right.
And before that 1 year's up, get that home re-inspected because you never know what's going to happen with the shifts.
Yep.
'Cause things do shift, and all that good stuff. So
Yeah, definitely. The 11-month inspection has been very good for me. I've got my name on some Lennar list from Black Mountain, that community out there, and I just keep getting calls left and right out there. And there are so many issues in that community out there.
well, Lennar's the worst.
Lennar, yeah, exactly.
It's horrible.
Lennar.
They don't even
Oh,
take care
man.
of the people we bring them. They give us like $500. I'm like, thank you.
Really? Yeah.
Get
no.
out of here.
Yeah, they bother me for sure.
Yeah.
And I like to throw them under the bus because they should be held responsible for the things they're doing incorrectly.
Yeah, all builders should.
Yeah. And people are paying a lot of money and they deserve what they're paying for
Yeah.
in this market. I mean, I get it in 2011, 2012 when the market was low. People didn't care. When you put stuff on the inspection, they're like, who cares? Who cares? We're getting this for $100 grand. Like, we really don't care. Like, but nowadays with the price, everybody's very particular about the condition of the property that they're buying and very concerned about it.
As they should be.
And they should be.
It's
They work
hundreds
hard for
of
their money.
thousands of
Yeah.
dollars.
It's their
It's
biggest
huge.
investment.
Yeah, the biggest investment.
Yeah,
It's
you're
where you're
gonna
going to
make-
raise your kids and live forever.
And you need to protect it at the beginning, the middle, and the end. That's a big part of people's retirement is their home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New homes, easy to insure.
New homes, we love new homes. Bring me some new homes, people. Quit bringing me. No, I'm just joking. But yes, no. New homes rates are great as long as you have a clean record as a client. They're very insurable.
Okay.
I have a question. How is insuring people who are renting homes? Has that changed at all?
Renter's insurance.
Renter, yeah, that's what I'm
renter's
trying.
insurance.
On a home though, like not at a huge apartment complex.
Has the
Like,
price gone up for them as well?
Nothing like the homeowners. No, renters is still great rates. Yeah.
the reason I ask is because I just saw something about how Las Vegas specifically doesn't have very affordable homes right now. And there's a couple things that I think people don't know to think about that can help them. As we're going into graduation season, specifically wedding season, and maybe even childbirth, parenting. So you're allowed to use crowdsourced funding to help you pay for your house. I literally could have a baby shower and request funds as a gift, and we can use that. It's like a
Show it as
GoFundMe.
funds.
So I think a lot of people, they're looking at the cost of, hey, we want to get married, we want to start a family. Las Vegas is the wedding capital of the world. People can come here and get married for, under $1,000 and go home and have a big party. And by the time I got married, I already had a house full of stuff. I don't need like another toaster. I don't need a blender, but I might need a bigger house or I might need a house. So just keep in mind that one of the reasons I like to do these little Q&As with you professionals is because there is money out there to help people who want to do this. If we sit down and make a plan. So I have a rent to own program. This is great for people who are self-employed for about a year. This is also great for our ITIN people or
What's ITIN?
people who are not citizens. Immigrant
gotcha.
people, but they can buy a house. And here's why I asked about the renter's insurance. Because we literally have a setup where you can do a rent to own. So for example, you guys want to sell your second home. He wants to buy a first home. Maybe he's a brand new realtor. I know he's not, but maybe he's a brand new realtor and he's only been in the business for a year or so. That's going to make it very hard for him to qualify for a loan because we look for a 24-month employment history. You have to prove you can buy this house nowadays. We don't just let you tell us. Although it was easier back then. Didn't have a good outcome.
No, that was the outcome.
You guys sell the house just like you sold it to anybody else. He is now making the mortgage payment on it through rent and collecting equity. And we have a 10-year ramp up period where he can get his finances together and actually buy that house. But in the meantime, he's the one collecting the equity under his name.
Oh, really?
Is that first time buyer program or what? What's the qualifications?
You want to buy a house?
That's
You
it?
want to pay a mortgage or you want to pay rent forever?
So you don't have to have a credit score, certain credit score,
Well,
anything like that? You don't have to
we're
have a
going to
down
want to
payment?
think minimum like FHA qualifications. So we are going to have a minimum credit score. We like to see 640, 680. But in my experience, when I look at someone's credit, there's usually two reasons why their credit's low. And one of them is they usually don't have enough credit. And that's a very easy fix. So game planning is part of this. But that's why we're all sitting here telling everybody is like, there's a way to get something done. Harmony has a workaround for insurance. Rocky can protect you from making a bad investment. He might be out there saying, hey, I know you guys are looking around. This is a good investment. Shane can negotiate everything inside out, upside down, left side, and right. Or we can set you up on a plan where you have a portfolio that you're cash flowing off of. But there's a way to get this stuff done. And we're all cutting edge and staying above board here with the current times. I'm really discouraged with turning on the news and hearing about everyone having tough times. I'm not saying that's not happening, but what I am saying is you have to live somewhere.
So with the
There's a way.
rent to own, they don't need the money down
You don't need as much money down.
as much money, so you're gonna have to
But-
need something.
Well, I mean, it's case by case. So we have down payment assistance programs. And depending on some of these rentals and what part of the country you live in, I mean, I've seen situations where people are renting a house for $2,500, but you got to come up with first, last, clean deposit, pet deposit. I've seen situations where people now have to rent appliances.
I see that all the time. It's ridiculous.
I see where they're having to
Renting
pay for
appliances? Really?
garage
Yeah.
door openers and
know
like
that.
because of the technology to get the fobs is replaced.
there's-
Basically pet rent,
Yeah,
you know?
there's property managers that are horrible. And you'll see the home without a fridge or a washer and dryer. And they say if you want that fridge or washer and dryer, it's going to be like $25 or $50
Oh my
per month.
God.
Yeah.
Really?
Property managers are horrible, except for my broker, which is great. He's actually really good. Like literally, I'm usually the last one to leave out of every brokerage, but he's always here before I get here. Usually, sometimes, and sometimes most of the time he's always here after I leave.
Awesome.
So if you should get your homeowner's insurance reevaluated annually after you move into the home. I was unaware of this 11-month on a new build.
Yeah.
Do you do that also on just a secondary market purchase? Do you go back and do a re-inspect or?
Never have had another client
Okay.
call me to come back and do another inspection after they've moved in. No, not really. I mean, if someone does, I'll go out and, like I had a client call me the other day and say, hey, I think we have a leak coming from our upstairs bathroom. Can you come with your thermal camera and check it out? And I did an inspection for them like a year ago. You know, come out and check it out
Okay,
for
cool.
them. They have a little leak coming through from their toilet. Help them out, no big deal. But no, that's not generally a practice that you would do another 11th month inspection or another inspection after on a resale. But new build for sure, because like he said, the settling, you never know what's been sealed right, you know, as far as
Everything
piping
cracks,
and
yeah.
everything cracks, everything moves. So
Because they have to fix it within that first
within
year.
that first year, bumper to bumper, like he said.
So
After
that's why
That's why
that,
they don't want them in there. That's why they don't want them in there.
That's exactly why they don't want them in there.
It's
Yeah.
on contract that
Yeah.
they will fix it.
Accountability.
yes.
Really?
But the 11th month, they have no control over. So only the initial inspection they have control over. The builder does. After that, and once it's turned
Like you
over to
can
the
go
client,
in?
yeah,
Oh,
I go
if they
in.
own
Yeah,
it.
right, exactly.
Yeah, makes sense.
So it's very important for that. And then, like I said, they're covered up to 10 years on all the major stuff. And then there is some sort of a 2-year warranty as well.
Yeah, it's 2 years, like the plumbing and everything in the walls and stuff.
Okay.
And then the 10 years is just the framing, structural
Yeah.
they call it. But that's why it's important. Like people will go buy new homes, they can get a better deal, which they can. We know these inspectors, and I'll tell you this: not all inspectors are created equal. I spent my fair shares of thousands of dollars going through bad home inspectors because I'm the type of person when I refer somebody, it's on me. You know,
Right.
so if they
I feel the
miss
same.
something and don't do a good job and I have to come back, I correct it. So just call me, even if you went and bought your house by yourself, I'll refer you to Rocky here or somebody else I got in the book. So
Yeah, definitely having somebody reputable is very important, not just someone out of the phone book, because you don't know who you're getting nowadays.
yeah.
And everybody thinks they can do it, but it really takes a specific type of person in order to be very detail oriented.
Yeah, it's the small things
yeah,
too.
it is.
And then one thing I missed is scope, because as an inspector, you only got so far as scope. I have some clients be like, "There's scuffs on the wall." It's a resale, right? And what do you guys look for? Because I tell them like, the home inspection is not for the scuffs on the wall. I mean, but they'll put that in the report if it's necessary, but it's not one of those things. It's more of a safety hazard, things you can't see with your naked eye kind of thing, even though you cover the things with the naked eye, but like little minor, like dirt on the wall. And I get clients sometimes, I'm like, you're killing me right now.
Yeah. So we do have a scope of operations of what we're supposed to be reporting on, what we're not supposed to be reporting on. That way it kind of protects us so we're not super invasive to somebody's property. But I have a hard time personally following that scope because they don't understand the scope. Their expectations are you're going to inspect the property and you're going to inspect everything. And so and
You're
they
going
want
to know what's 3 feet in that wall.
Yeah, they want you-
That's what they expect from the inspector.
Exactly. So for me, I find that being very thorough helps me to understand the property. So if I'm just looking at major components, I'm going to miss something.
Oh, yeah.
I have to take into account everything. So when I take account all the minor things and the major things, the house begins to tell a story. And to me, that's what it is. It's creating a story for me. So I include all the minor stuff. And I don't include it as a major item or as a repair item, but I include it in the report so the buyer knows, so they're aware. So when they move into the home, they don't think my inspector was an idiot and he was supposed to know all this stuff and he didn't put any of this stuff in here. And now I have a broken drawer, which is so minor, but a broken drawer. But some people have,
They get mad.
they get upset.
No, they
You
don't.
know,
Like,
and
you suck.
They have these
Well, I caught the water
expectations.
leak, but I missed the little.
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
caught 500 other things, but you're talking about the doorstop I
They get
missed.
Screw
really
is
upset.
loose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's all about communication to the buyer and to letting them know what is important, what's not important, what's cosmetic, what is minor, what is major, what is really something that you should go back to the seller and to have addressed. So as long as that communication's there, that's the key. I include everything because people's expectations are that you're going to include everything. For me, I can't just follow the scope. It just doesn't work like that because the house tells a bigger story.
Yeah.
And the story of deferred maintenance.
So
and-
what about the scope as in the bigger things, like pools? Sometimes if there's something wrong with the pool, usually they'll say get it inspected by a pool expert or something wrong with the AC or something like that. Do you refer like a second inspections? Because sometimes we have to get extended inspections for certain things because it's beyond the scope of a home inspector.
And then that's where sometimes you're going to have to end up, like, extending the due diligence because we're only a generalist. I'm not a specialist on anything. I don't open up air conditioning units and inside of pool pumps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm a visual inspector, right? So I visually inspect and I touch everything, but I don't necessarily open up everything. So there are times when we find some certain things where you have to recommend a further inspection by a professional contractor. And like Shane said, at that time, maybe we have to extend due diligence in order to get those inspections in within a good amount of time so that everybody knows exactly what's going on. Because like he said, he offers a buffer. on, say, a pool pump. We've got a leak at the water meter. Well, okay, we'll put in $1,000, but let's put in another 500 because it could be something bigger until we get that further inspection. So having those professional contractors come out after the initial inspection is something that needs to be done every single time.
Awesome.
Every time.
Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you guys for being here. If you guys need insurance, go to Harmony Home Inspection. We got Rocky right here. Alone, we got Tracy. And if you want to sell or buy a house, I can help you, unless you are not in touch with reality and you want $1 million for your $500,000 house. And then I'll refer you to somebody who needs that kind of business.
There you go.
But thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you guys so much.